I'm Harvey Koeppel, the Executive Director of the Center for CIO Leadership. Welcome to CIO Perspectives, focusing on key topics for CIOs. Joining me are my guests Jeanette Horan, CIO of IBM, Peter Whatnell, CIO of Sunoco, and Ron Bergmann, Vice President for Information Technology and CIO at Lehman College, City University of New York. Thank you all for joining. About the role of the CIO and how it's evolved over the last 3 to 5 years. Very interested in hearing your perspective from within Sunoco and within the industry in general, as you've observed.
The concept of business value was there, but it wasn't the driver for what we did. It was more technical excellence, running the project well, getting it in, making sure it didn't fall over. Now, the value that IT creates is how can the company get more customers, retain them, earn more margin from those customers, and the business is sort of disinterested in the name on the box of the technology that you acquire. They're more interested in what does it cost to acquire, can my organization as a business assimilate it, learn to use it beneficially quickly, and harvest the benefits? Is it something I can leave behind me if a new world comes along and I have to move on? You know, understanding where the business is going, bring to bear on those business issues a good enough technical solution that delivers benefit to the business quickly, deploy it, help the business get benefit out of it. Operating things well at a low cost and reliable is still important, but you don't have to do it yourselves. Right. So the other thing that's, I think, has changed, the sort of ecosystem of partners and vendors that you can use and work with to deliver value is much, much greater than it was 10 years ago. Sure. It's a new game. Yeah, strategy firmly rooted in execution.
Great, great. Jeanette, you've been with IBM now 13 years, I understand.
That's
so you've
correct.
Certainly seen a lot of changes, both within the company and within the CIO role as well. Perhaps you could share with our audience some of your observations about how those have changed.
So 3 years ago in IBM, we did have one CIO, but the CIO was responsible for running the infrastructure, so certainly you kind of networks and email servers and the like, and for setting policy and standards for things like enterprise architecture, security, etc. But the business applications that actually drove the business were all owned and managed by people who resided in the business units. So 2.5 years ago, we moved to a fully centralized model. And so now I, as the CIO, have responsibility for all of the business applications as well as all of the infrastructure. And obviously have to partner with the business to understand, what new projects they want to do, what new applications they might want to deliver. It's one of the key ways that we drive efficiency by moving towards centers of excellence from an operational perspective for a lot of our back office functions. And for the IT department to be able to really support that changing business strategy, we determined it was going to be much more effective if we could have one central decision-making and one management system. So it's really quite a different world. And similarly to Peter, we also have outsourced a lot of the core operation. Of course, we outsource to IBM's own outsourcing business, which really does allow the CIO staff to focus much more on that alignment with the business.
So again, Ron, how about from a City University perspective, what are you seeing?
Well, I would agree that 5 years ago, the role of the CIO was around the foundational elements of managing the data center in the sense of consolidation, virtualization on the application side, beginning to implement business intelligence and CRM type tools, and that the role was primarily internal. The role was primarily around optimizing costs and ensuring an efficient operation. What's changed is a number of factors that we've discussed, and very thoughtfully, I think, the concept of having greater accountability from the CIO with regard to strategic kinds of thinking, greater work associated with transparency and metrics of the IT shop, and also the role of consumerization. We have been primarily in the past driven by IT in terms of directing the technology changes in an organization. Now that has moved also to more external focus, where we're being driven by the consumer. And there's a great need to catch up with mobile technologies, with social media and networking that's out there, and making sure that we can leverage that properly. I would say that we are at a tipping point, and that there's a lack of differentiation around social media, and that we will probably see some consolidation.
Well, great conversation. I'd like to thank you, panelists, for your thoughts and insights. Thank you, our viewers, for watching, and please be sure to join us next time.